Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 146 of my brand new Comics Haul series where I show you guys all the new books that I pick up at my LCS every week. So really light week for me this time around. I've only got 4 issues. It's 1 from Image, which is a really big release that I'll start out with, and then 3 from Marvel Comics. So let's just get right into it here. First one I wanted to talk about was Ghost Machine. So this has been a long time coming. They announced this new imprint called Ghost Machine that's led by this group of the industry's top creators. So it's Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Brian Hitch, some of the top artists and writers have joined in on this. It's under Image Comics, but it's their own imprint Ghost Machine. Image Comics creators have to have their own company they publish under so that they can own the rights to the characters that they create. I'll show some interior artwork in here. And this is this new thing they're launching where there's going to be a bunch of different shared universes within the imprint, but it's different genres and stuff. And the idea is just creating new characters people can be excited about. A lot of these writers and artists came from Marvel and DC, so it's kind of rebelling against the big two also. I'm here for it. We've got some more of the unnamed universe in here, so Geiger and this new series Redcoat that it looks like is being previewed with art by Brian Hitch that Jeff Johns is behind. And then there's also a bunch of previews for new upcoming series that are completely original ideas. And I'll be trying a lot of this stuff out. I'm not sure how much of an investment buying every single Ghost Machine book is going to end up being. It seems like there's a lot of new shared universes going on at Image Comics, but at least the creators behind this are claiming that this is a big deal. So we'll see if this pans out, how well this first issue sells or whatever it might be. But I'm liking the artwork in here. It's pretty high quality based on this, but a good range of genres also. It seems like there's sci-fi, there's war type stuff with Redcoat and Geiger, and maybe some more family-friendly type stuff, maybe horror I think I was seeing in the back. So looking forward to continuing to read this one, especially the unnamed side of stuff. I've still got yet to be convinced by, Rook Exodus and whatever these other new series they're putting out are. But yeah, Ghost Machine #1. Next up, though, from Marvel Comics, I've got a few issues from them this week. First one here is G.O.D.S. #4. Actually, all 3 of the issues I picked up from Marvel cost $5, just really a signifier of where they're going these days. They're jacking up most of the prices to $5. I think there's still a good few, ongoing series that they still charge $4 for, but it seems like ongoing, this is going to be the new price of Marvel Comics. Just something to be aware of. Make sure you check prices before you're actually picking stuff up. But yeah, so with G.O.D.S. here, it's by Jonathan Hickman and Valerio Schiti. I've been liking it so far. I think it's definitely a little bit more character-centered than a lot of Hickman stuff has been before, but with the same kind of spectacle and grandiosity that he usually has to his new concepts like this. It's a little bit hard to follow. I'm not sure if I'm missing something, if I'm just bad at picking up all these different factions and stuff that we've been introduced to. There's the powers that be, that control, there's another faction that controls the mystical side of things that works with Doctor Strange. We've got this main set of characters with Wynn being kind of the main character, who has been working closely with Doctor Strange, who's been kind of a big cast member behind the series. That's the one already existing Marvel character that's been playing a big part. But we've had all these new characters introduced also, and it's just building up this whole world. And the artwork, I'll say, is probably my favorite part of this. The writing has been good enough, but I feel I just need to know more at this point in the series, without whatever cryptic way that Hickman is going to be introducing us to these new characters and ideas. Maybe just kind of a straight up explanation would be better. And I don't think they have much of a recap page on this one. So I'm not sure how I feel about it so far. It kind of feels like I'd be missing out on something big if I stopped picking it up. So I'm not sure. I'll stick with it for now. But that one's okay so far. Next up, we got Superior Spider-Man. This is #3. I really like this series. It's not good for new readers because it's really based on the past Superior Spider-Man run. A lot of stuff that's been happening in Dan Slott's Return to Spider-Man ever since he launched that Spider-Man series, I think last year or the year before. So Spider-Boy is pretty heavily involved, but if you're familiar with that kind of stuff, there's probably an easy way to get caught up if you just read the recap page or whatever you need to online. It's really good. It's deeply rooted in Doc Ock's history as the Superior Spider-Man, which obviously is why they kind of brought back the title, even though it doesn't really apply to what's going on in the story that much. And we've got this twist now that there's this villain, which I'm forgetting the name of, but this new villain who's right here on the page, that Doc Ock was responsible for the creation of during his time as Spider-Man, has come back and is now looking for Superior Spider-Man again, because she was dormant all these years and still thinks that the Doc Ock version of the character is who she should be looking for. And she's unaware that Peter Parker now is just a normal guy again. So Doc Ock and Peter actually have to work together was kind of like the cliffhanger for the last issue, and get Peter into the superior suit to like lure the villain and take her down however they need to. So yeah, I'm really liking the concept. Good artwork by Mark Bagley. Dan Slott is one of my favorite writers at Marvel. He's got a good, more lighthearted tone for a lot of his stuff, but with still good ideas and some stakes to it. And I'm not buying the main Amazing Spider-Man series. I think this is a good replacement. It is monthly, so you don't get as much of a Spider-Man fix, but I'm liking it so far. That's Superior Spider-Man number 3. Lastly, the final issue I got this week for my small haul was Immortal Thor. This is number 6 of this series. We've still got the original series artist on here, Martin Coccolo. It's always good. Always a good sign that like a series artist can at least last like a whole 6-issue story arc. This one it actually looks like is going to be part of a new story launching here, because we had the whole Utgard Thor story arc wrap up last issue. This looks like more of a flashback issue with Thor and Loki going back to some kind of thing that has to do with their past that might be connected to these Utgard gods that seem to be like the looming threat behind the entire Immortal Thor run going forward. We found out that Gaia was originally part of that like generation of gods, which I guess was kind of a retcon to Thor history, so that's interesting. We've also got this looming threat of Dario Agger, the Minotaur from Roxxon, coming back after being brought down by Hulk in the Immortal Hulk run. So now Al Ewing like following up on that thread. There's this interesting thing going on where Dario Agger like owns the IP property rights to Thor and is like making comics under him. So some weird like fourth wall breaking meta type stuff going on here. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this. Here's a cool splash page at the end. And yeah, we'll see about this. Immortal Thor number 6. It's been an interesting series so far. Still hasn't like quite completely sold me like Immortal Hulk did within the first few issues, but it is very different. So I'll stick with this one for sure. Gotta have faith in Al Ewing. So those are the 4 issues I picked up this week. Definitely a small week for me this time around, but let me know what you picked up down in the comment section below. Most anticipated for me is for sure Ghost Machine. I'm just hoping that all those backup stories are as good as the unnamed stuff is going to end up being. And that's about it for me for this week. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.